Hi, my name's Rebecca Chaplin. I'm a car journalist, but I mainly write about things like buying and selling cars, car dealerships and auctions. So today I'm going to be answering some questions for motors.co.uk and its readers. Let's see what we've got this time. First up, I've got a question that says, I'm very nervous about buying a car as I'm worried I will make the wrong choice or end up with a car that will cost a lot to repair in the future. My budget is £3,000, so I know I'm looking at the older cars and that scares me. I've heard of a pre-inspection test and that would ease my anxieties, but are most sellers okay with me asking for this to happen? So this is totally understandable. There's a lot of stress around buying a new car. Particularly if money's tight and you don't want to be stuck with a big bill at the end. Pre-inspection checks actually aren't that unusual, and if you look for a reputable dealer who has good reviews and is endorsed by someone like AA, RAC or other warranty companies, you'll see that sometimes they come with a pre-inspection check already done. That's not saying that you should take that as absolute proof, because same thing with MOTs, they're only valid on the day that they are done, and after that you don't know what's happened since. But these are like 100, sometimes 120, even more point checks that look at all of the important stuff and can give you an idea of what you're dealing with the car. If you're going to a private seller, that does kind of make it slightly more difficult because they might not want you fiddling about with their own personal car, but you can always ask the question, and if you feel like the situation is not right, you feel like someone is really defensive about it, that could set alarm bells ringing. So trust your gut on things like that. Don't feel like you have to buy a car that you don't feel completely comfortable about buying as well. You're right, it's a really big decision to make and it should be the right one for you. Next question says, I'm looking to upgrade my Ford Focus that is titanium trim. This time I'm looking to explore an estate version as we like to camp and the extra boot space will help. My question today is, there are so many different trim levels to choose from. What are the actual differences though? So Ford Focus Estate, great option to go with to start with. I love that car. You get a much more practical car, but doesn't lose any of those good looks. So I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible and as quick as possible. There are lots and lots of options that come with the standard Z-Tech model, which is the lowest option that you can get, which is a really good thing to know because you've got all those regular stuff that everyone wants. Bluetooth, you've got 2 USB ports, you've got touchscreen in the middle with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay and things on. The next level up from that, you've basically got 3 levels that are on the same level, if that makes sense. You've got a titanium, active and ST line. So these all add mainly cosmetic stuff. So you've got like leather steering wheels, leather gear knob, or various different variations on this. But the titanium is like you get more of the general stuff. Active is more of like an off-road rugged looking version. So you've got like plastic bumpers around the front, bigger wheels, and inside you get better tech, things like rain detection as well on your windscreen, all those kind of things that are nice to have rather than like necessary, if that makes sense. And the ST line is like a baby version of the ST, so you've got sportier suspension, bigger wheels again, and sportier interior. Then from there you've got X versions of all this, so titanium X, active X and ST line X, and each of these you get the lovely digital dash, which makes it really nice to drive rather than the smaller 4-inch screen you get. It's like a 12.3 inch screen instead. You also get that one in the middle, and again you get more tech, so you've got more safety systems on there, more of those nice to haves rather than the must haves. And you also get things like bigger wheels again, slightly improved exterior. Then from there, if you want to go for the most sporty option, you can get the ST, which has all its own kind of unique suspension setup. You can get the big 2.3 litre petrol engine that's got like nearly 300 brake horsepower and generally really good to drive. Hopefully that answers your question. Next up, we've got a quite unusual question actually. I don't know if there's something you could help with. I sold my Pride and Joy 5 years ago and I've regretted it ever since. Lately I've been wondering if there's any way I could track down where the vehicle is and maybe ask the new owners if they're willing to sell it back. Do you know if there's anything that can help with this. So this is something I think about a lot with my old cars. It's a painful process, and unfortunately there is no easy fix for this. You can't just go online and look things up. It all comes down to data protection, unfortunately. But you can go onto the government website and that will give you some useful information. So if you go on there and put in the registration, it will tell you if the car's been taxed, if it's got an MOT, so you can get a kind of gauge on whether someone's still using it. It very much depends on what the car is and how it would have been used, to be fair, but this can give you a kind of idea. You can also find on there when the last logbook was issued. So if that logbook was issued when you sold the car, then you have a better idea that the person you sold it to probably still has it. So maybe go through your records, see if you've got any old phone numbers from when you did that deal, and you might be able to find it. Obviously, if you part exchanged it or something like that, it's going to be a lot more difficult. However, if you're starting with no information at all, depending on what type of car it is, you can go onto forums or Facebook groups, I'd say is a really good place to start. Put a picture on there, give people some details and see if anyone has seen it. If it's the sort of car that's going to turn up at shows, then I mean you've got quite a good chance that someone will have seen it somewhere. You never know what garage or workshop or car dealer might see it on those groups as well, because there are a lot of them in those groups. And they might know if they've sold it, they might have seen someone who has it. So yeah, have a look, ask questions. There are also websites that claim to store this kind of information, but you're really relying on the owner uploading that information, but it's worth a look because you never know what you might find. So hopefully that's helped with some of your questions. If you have any more questions about car buying, do send them through to motors.co.uk, and next time I will do my best to answer them.